Oh, there we go. Recording in progress. Okay, thank you. Thank you for recording. Here we go. I think that was Ofek. Thank you. All right, Ryan, you're on. Everyone, thank you so much. Daniel, Sabrina, thank you guys for hosting. Chazak Baruch. Part 3 of the Chinuch series. In part 4, I think March 11th at Josh's house. New change of date after Purim, Bezrat Hashem. And that one's going to be about discipline and Chinuch extreme. We're keeping the best for last. But this one's also going to be good, Bezrat Hashem. Today is called Chinuch in Mitzvot. But we did not finish yet the book that I was doing last time from Rabbi Hoffman, who brought such amazing insights to having a strong relationship with your child and the concept of what's in your heart about someone can be transferred and that other person could feel it. And therefore, when you're dealing with your child, you only want to have feelings of love and because that gets transferred to the child. So his next point is a very important point, is that never, ever, ever, even in the slightest way, not to lie to your children. So it's very detrimental to your chinuch. Now, obviously, big lies every lie is always bad, and that's the only thing in the Torah that says midbar sheker tirchak, distance yourself from sheker, from lying, at all costs. Obviously, lying is the opposite of the truth, and it's going to go into them subconsciously, or even consciously, straight out. My parents, father's a liar, mother's a liar. I can't trust them anymore, and yeah, they're gonna find out, and uh, yeah, exactly. They find out, and Rabbi Hoffman says through this concept of kamaim, that what's in your heart gets transferred. They could feel that the lie as well. You're trying to hide things. It's gonna transfer over, and if trust is broken in the relationship, that is very not good. When I teach chatanim, one of the number one things I call one of the golden rules in marriage is trust. If there's no trust, chas shalom, then that could end things very, very quickly. If God, I always say that a husband has to know their wife's password, a wife has to know the husband's password on the phone, and things have to be transparent. If the chas there's no trust, it could go sour very quick. So
what about parents who keep like traumatic things from their kids? They won't like someone's very, very sick that they know and they
yeah,
won't like don't say anything like
they don't need to.
I'm not talking about like a 3, 4 year old. I'm talking about
Or someone older.
like 10, 11,
Right.
12 years.
So the way to deal with it is not to lie, but to say, look, there's something going on, but I just rather, for your protection, I just don't want to tell you. So you're being straight up with them. And like the example, give it like let's say with small lies. What's a small lie? Like we don't lie big lies to our kids. We're not a liar. We're good people. Small lie is, I know if my son sees me going, let's say to Arvit, all right, he's gonna cry. He doesn't want to see his father leave. He's put me to bed, whatever, but I gotta go to Arvit. So what I do is I put them in the thing and I say, don't tell him I left. Or like, are you leaving, Daddy? No, I'm not leaving. And then like when he turns around, you run out, right? So that's like we always do that, right? It's a classic, right? Right? Or like you're all dressed up to go somewhere. You're all dressed up to go somewhere, and they're like, "Where are you going? Are you going to a wedding? Are you going somewhere to bar mitzvah? No, just go to sleep. Just go to sleep. No, just go to sleep." Right? So that's the obvious, like but you're lying to them, right? And what's happening is that if they find out, then what happens is that my parents lied. They at a very young age, it can be like, oh my gosh, they left, and I don't know if they're gonna ever come back. Like young kids could think that they lied to me because they left. Let's say they wake up and they see a babysitter, and then they start crying, and this babysitter calls, where are you, whatever. But in their mind, it's like, oh my gosh, my parents, they told me they're staying, and now they left. Are they going to come back? That's what's going on. So the way to work it out is you got to be honest. So look, I'm going, but I'm going to come back. I'll be back later. I have to go. I have a wedding to go to. I have to go. Right? It's going to be hard. It's going to be. It's a short, right. It's a short term loss for a long term gain. The short term loss is that there's crying now. You might have to leave a little bit later. You have to, but it's a long term gain because what happens is when you do leave, they know, okay, he told me he's leaving. He told me he's coming back. So there's that okay, I know what's going on. I know what to expect, right? And that's the underlying what's going on, what's wrong about lying, even small lies, and the importance of truth in all
That's like
situations.
Sabrina mentioned, like just a second ago, because I heard her, it's like the daycare, right? Like the drop off. Right. It's like so like we learned early on because and we actually had to like tell other parents they didn't understand like when you drop your kid off at daycare, basically the longer that you stay, the worse it's gonna get. The worse it's gonna get, right? So like I learned it early on, so I would just say, okay, bye, I'm coming back, but I gotta go. I would just leave. Even if they're like cry, really cry. No, mommy, stay one more minute. And she say, stay one more minute. Stay. No, no, no. After all, I just left. And I remember one morning I dropped off Avian Air in a daycare, and I sat with this other parent. And her kid was crying. She's like, I don't know what to do. I'm like, how long have you been here for? She's like, oh, like I've been here for like a half an hour, just like to watch through the window. I'm like, well, that's your problem. Like, you gotta leave. The longer you stay, the longer he's gonna want your attention and know that you're here.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's an important point of so these small things. I know it's easy to like skip out and lie to them, but subconsciously what's going on, and subconsciously like we don't want that. From a young age, we could chas from ruin a relationship. Or like he's a liar. He's like like subconsciously, and that's like that's not good. That's really not good.
How about if you, for entertainment purposes, like I tell my kids, like, oh yeah, I make AI pictures and videos of me beating up King Kong. They love it. Like, I was swimming with the alligator.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Like, am I doing something wrong there?
I just think at the end to tell them it's fake. I would think that. I know my kids often ask me. By the way, all those like what? I just like often my kids. Hey, what's up? What's that? We gotta get a chair. Bring a chair over here. Oh, we got a chair over there.
Oh, I get the
Okay.
fancy seats.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You want to try some tequila with that?
No.
Want a glass of wine?
All right.
What happens when you miss them for 2 days?
Compliments.
Wait, you might have to leave on your ugly before.
So our first point is not lying to the kids. That's the way we're up to right now. Even small lies like, "Are you going to the wedding?" And then you're like, "No, no, I'm not going to the wedding. Just go to sleep." And then like you go and they find that you went. That's subconsciously there's oh, my dad's a liar, or oh, he left without telling me that he's leaving, and when is he going to come back? And again, we don't want that. The kids feel like, oh my gosh, they abandoned me, and the things like that.
Is it also to teach them not to lie themselves?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. That's also the 100%. That's what we're going to talk about. Like the number one example, being an example to your kids is the number one thing. Is the number one thing, and they see, oh, they could lie, so I could lie too, right? That's 100%, 100%. And yeah, we don't want to ruin our trust with them. And chas shalom, from infancy, we're sending these messages. It's not good. There's a story of a student in a yeshiva that the rabbi felt that he needed tutoring, and he told the student, I think you need some extra tutoring. But the student said, look, I agree, but I know it's going to cost some money. My parents can't afford it. Like I don't like. So the rabbi said, no, no, don't worry, don't worry, don't worry. The yeshiva's got it covered. The yeshiva, that please, you're serious with me. The yeshiva's got it covered. My parents, please don't ask my parents for it. They can't afford it. He said, no, no, the yeshiva's got it covered. The yeshiva's got it covered. So fine. Then he had the tutor. This the student, unfortunately, his father suddenly passed away. And it was the night before the funeral. Night before the funeral. And he calls Rabbi Hoffman. This Rabbi Hoffman is writing in this book. He calls Rabbi Hoffman and he says, that rabbi, I hate him. I hate him. Can't believe he lied to me. He lied to me. What happened? He went through his father's stuff and he found checks to his tutor, straight from the father, that the rabbi lied to him. And even though it was like, it's all for the student's benefit in order to help the student and whatever, but like the yeshiva can't afford it. He has to go to the father. And if he tells the student that the father's paying, the student wouldn't want to do it. The student needs it. So like, but that's it. It ruined the trust between the rabbi and the student. And the night before his father's funeral, that's what he's okay. Let's talk about it later. Like that, he was so fierce. He had such a strong trust with that rabbi, and he broke it because not being truthful. That's so important. So often our kids say, "Dad, you promised me a toy." right? You promised me, right? So if you promised, you got to come through with it. You got to come through with it, right? You can't lie. All right, you can't like say, "Oh, the store is closed," or "the store ran out of it." All right, like you can't lie. You can't lie. Now you could say, "I owe it to you, but I just can't do it right now. I still owe it to you, but we're gonna, let's wait till tomorrow. I owe it to you, but it's still school. Let's get it on the weekend, right?" But you can't lie. Maybe I mentioned this already because I still have a little bit of not trauma, but like I still have two people when I was a kid that I have in mind. One already passed away, and total mechila, but they promised me toys when I was a kid. One guy, he went on business somewhere like Japan, and he brought a kid in shul, like his cool Japanese toy. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I think he felt bad that like I saw the toy being given to him. He's next time I go, I'm gonna bring you. I promise I'll bring you a toy. Bring you a toy. I never saw a toy in my life. And then from the guy, I never. Maybe, but it was like it's true. But and then the other thing was I got like hurt at a kid's birthday party, and the kid's father said, "I'm gonna buy you a toy." Don't worry. Never saw that toy, man. And never. But like, huh?
Glasses? You know what I'm talking about?
No, no, that's what you're talking about. What? Oh, those, yeah. But right, exactly. Obviously, mechila fully, but it's if someone promises you something and breaks that, there's a lack of trust there, especially if it's with a parent, a child. You don't want to ruin that. Rabbeinu Yonah writes in Pirkei Avot that when a student sees their rabbi and he's speaking truth, there you can learn from them. And so too, he says, if there's a truth that a child sees from his parents, that of course they could learn from the very. They see my parents are truthful people. They're not sly. They don't lie. They're honest people. There's a lot that we could learn from them. Next point. Next point is your child has a personality. Recognize the personality, learn the personality, have a relationship with your child using his personality. I mean, the relationship should not be only the do's and the don'ts. Do this, don't do this, do this, don't do this. That's my only time that I talk to my kid is do this, don't do this, do this, don't do this. But like, chill with them, relax with them, enjoy their presence, talk to them, find out their personality, find out their interests, right, and build a relationship with them. They like certain things, and they do certain things at school, and find out. The relationship should not be only the do's and the don'ts, because that's not a relationship. That's you're a taskmaster. Yes, there's a parent-child. There's a hierarchy for sure. But there's sometimes we have to lower ourselves. Sometimes have to be their friends, especially this day and age. We have to schmooze with them. We have to, be their friend in a certain way. And another thing is in a certain way, treat them like an adult. Schmooze with them, ask them for their opinion, take their opinions seriously, take their questions seriously, right? Don't just, I'm the father, I'm the mother, so like whatever you say, okay, whatever, but this is what I'm doing, right? But no, you have a concern, you have a question, let me hear it seriously, let me understand you, let me understand where you're coming from. It's so important that there's the relationship. I want to bring a few stories that the relationship between parent and child is so important, and not just the do's and the don'ts. I remember, sorry, I didn't report here, but I just came to my mind that when I was in yeshiva, and I was becoming more like more like religious, and I remember my rabbi, who's is still at the yeshiva, Rabbi Greenberger, he's the other Rosh Yeshiva at Ner Israel. He told me, he said, I see that you're very into your tefillah and you're into your learning, and that's so amazing. But he said to me, don't lose your personality. So you have a nice personality, you're friendly with everyone, this. Don't become like in a box and lose your personality, right? The Torah, is together with your personality in the good, of course, right?
It's interesting that you say that, because a lot of like the rabbanim that we all know that are very, very like dynamic, right? Like speakers, and that became even like viral or famous over like the last like 10 years. It's because of their personality,
right. And they didn't like
It's not because
shun it or quelch it, right? They just,
but it's not because of the Torah learning. Like, it's because of their personality.
sometimes it comes across with that. And,
right.
yeah, I remember him clearly telling me that in his office, and it was a little eye opening for me as a youngster. You think like maybe my silliness or my joking or my whatever, like no, like put that aside and just like robot type. But together with your personality, and so to the child, like you're a child, you're growing up, you have a personality, you learn things from school, you learn things from friends, you hear songs, you hear music, you dance, you this, you when a child comes home, they want to feel like a safe place. They want to run around, they want to joke around, they want to chill out. At school, they're getting all the rules, right? School is where they got to teach them, there's more rigorous. At home, let them chill out, let them be a little bit free. Having this relationship is so important. A few stories to bring this out. Um, there was once a big rabbi in a yeshiva who like got into a conversation with a student. It was like a schmoozing conversation. It was just like a nothing to do about his like about learning or nothing like just a schmoozing. And the student walked away like, whoa, like he kind of lowered himself in a certain way to like just ask me about myself, my family, and like just how's it going, and like whatever, like just like a regular person, kind of on his level. And that student never forgot that from that person, and it was such a close bond. Here's an opposite story, which is like you'll see, which is also an amazing story. The great Rabbi Rav Shach, the Rosh Yeshiva, the Panovich Yeshiva. Someone said to him after a shiur, he said, Rabbi, that was an amazing shiur. Now, in the yeshiva system, it's usually like shkoyach, shkoyach, like chazak u'ruch, which is like kind of cut and dry. Like I acknowledge it was a great shiur, but this person came over with a little bit of emotion. Like I just want to let you know, Rabbi, that was like an amazing shiur. Like thank you so much. That shiur, you must have prepared it so long. Thank you so much. And the rabbi said, and this is Rav Shach, who was like, like Superman in a certain way. He's like untouchable. So you know what? He said, now somebody do come over to me and like compliment me and thank me. And I really appreciate that. Talk to him like on a human level. And there's that relationship there. And this person walked away like, whoa, I didn't realize that like there's that human part exists, right? And it's so important for everyone, this type of relationship level. Um, there was an opposite story in a negative way. There was a story of um, like I'll put it, make it a little personal. There's a student of mine right now in the issue that I teach at that's a distant cousin of mine, and I know that he likes it, that he's that other rabbi's cousin a little bit, and I say it also, a cousin. This I know he likes it, and there's a story that there was a yeshiva boy in a yeshiva, and his rabbi was a distant cousin of his as well, and he was so sad that never throughout the entire year did he say like, hey, cuz, like, I'll take care of you, like, as a cousins. He made it as if he was a regular kid completely. He's like, what? Like, no, you have no human relationship part to you, and that was very, very a big turnoff for this student. Another type of story like this is there was a yeshiva boy. We'll call him Moshe, who studied in a very high level yeshiva in Israel. Call it a very cookie cutter, a very high level yeshiva. And at some point, it wasn't working out, and he went a little bit lower and lower and lower in his religious level, and he went to a yeshiva that was kind of like the kids were just hanging on to their Judaism, a much much lower level. And lo and behold, a rabbi that used to teach in that high level yeshiva left that yeshiva and got a position as a rabbi in the low level yeshiva. This kid Moshe sees that rabbi. He says, hey, do you remember me? I used to be your student in that high level yeshiva. And oh, sorry, the rabbi, when he came to the low level yeshiva, he was chilling with the guys and schmoozing with them, because that's that type of yeshiva. You need that extra tender love and care, schmoozing and chilling. And this guy Moshe tells him, do you remember me? I used to be in your yeshiva, and I used to be in your shiur in that higher level yeshiva. He said, no, I don't remember you. He said, I know you didn't remember me, because I'll tell you the truth, I hated you when you were there. If you would have chilled with us like you're doing now there, I would have liked you. I left because of you there. You were so strict, you were so rigorous, you were on such a high level in a certain way, you made yourself so untouchable that like that there was no connection, and it was because of you that I hated the place. But look, you have such an amazing personality. You're chilling with us, you're joking with us. Like if I would have seen that there, I would have maybe still been there. Unbelievable thing. There was a story of a yeshiva student. Rav Hoffman ends with this topic of a strong relationship between the parents and child, but he brings a few stories of yeshiva boys and their rabbis as well, which we could definitely connect to. And he says a story of a student that tells his rabbi, my sister's wedding's tonight. I would love it if you could stop by. So the rabbi says, look, I have a very busy night, but I'm going to try to stop by. And the rabbi had a really busy night, but he stopped by at 11 p.m. That's when he worked out, but he stopped by at 11 p.m. And even though he was just there for a few minutes, for that student, wow, my rabbi showed up. And even though it was 11 p.m., but he showed up, it made a big difference for this kid, a massive difference, and something that the student never forgot. And putting it back to our children, we have to try to do our best to attend their events. They have a lot of school events, a lot of events. Even if you come late, even if you come just for a little bit, it makes a big difference. I know that in the yeshiva that I teach at, if there's an event with parents and a kid, his parents don't come, or parents, we try to supplement that by being like the parent with them or whatever it is, because it's so important. It's difficult sometimes, parents have, multiple kids and all the always looking at me, are you at all of our kids' stuff? But one of us that makes it there. Oh, last year I went to Father's Day. So you tell me. Last year I went to Father's Day at school. Yeah, I took off school for that. No, it's like a father's child. Yeah, a child. Yeah.
My parents only saw me play basketball once. It was an alumni tournament after already high
Come
school.
on, really?
Right.
They worked all the time.
Yeah.
My mother never came to. They never came to one game. They worked all the time.
I know my dad worked all the time.
Yep.
But my mother was always there. Every hot lunch she helped out. She was always there, taking us on trips. Like the two parents that would always volunteer to take us on trips and this, and then my mother was always there. But we knew, okay, my dad loved us, he did this, but
They did on my own. Primarily all my
wow.
parents went to work in the morning, and my dad dropped us off at school. That was it.
Yeah.
My mom saw me play basketball once. It was an alumni tournament, and it was 2 years after I graduated from Chapel.
Yeah. Just screaming Daniel the whole time.
Yeah. You know what was going on. It was like, you know what was going on. I had no clue about it. But that's a rule for everything in life, Rabbi, is that it's to make a human connection.
100%.
Right? It's everything.
100%. 100%. And there's like the hierarchy, because we're in a higher position. We're a parent. They're the child. We're a rabbi. The congregant, whatever it is. It's no. There's human connection there. Yes, there's a hierarchy in certain things.
Like not to pat him, not to make him feel even better, but that's why we made a connection with him right away. That's amazing. Because he made a human connection with us. You didn't see me having talk about Torah with him.
We do sometimes.
The first time I met Rabbi Garfield, the same thing. We walked in to look at the shul, me and Sabrina. He said, "Well, what's your name?" Whatever. We started all of a sudden. He started asking me like, "Are you a sports fan or whatever?" And that was it. Like there was no, "I'm the rabbi and I can teach you this." Yeah. Right. Are you
Talk baseball with
Right.
all sports? Like
baseball guy.
Yeah, baseball guy.
My guy, he goes, "Oh, I'm from New York, from this," and that was it, right? Like that was it. And that's what the Chabad rap, that's what a lot of rabbis do.
Yeah.
Oh,
He was saying like, so, oh, the Rebbe's coming over to you, and you're like, oh, what's he gonna say to me? Like, goes, oh, you like baseball? And they had like a baseball. It goes, so like, didn't feel like necessarily so connected, but he was having a format to the Rebbe, and basically, like, well, like, so with the fans, like, did you enjoy the game? He goes, we went, but then like 3/4 of the way through, we saw we were losing, so we left. He goes, oh, you players leave? No, they have to play. And the end of it was like, what kind of Jew are you going to be? A fan who leaves when the going gets tough, or you're going to be a player and you've got skin in the game?
Yeah. That's an amazing lesson.
So that was
But the interaction was, yeah.
the boy.
It's the human connection.
I was a birthright leader. And, it was Friday night. So next to Mayor Shari.
Birthright leader. He was a leader.
And we were next to Mayor Shari, and I said, guys, you want to say anything? Let's go through Mayor Shari. Let's try to find like a break-in or a titch. Guys and girls. I said, girls, everyone dress modestly, everyone dress properly, right? But the guys going in jeans, like t-shirts, they don't look like people on Mayor Shari. So we go and we find this, we hear this loud tish. So we follow it, and we enter this massive room. Huge bleachers and like sidewalks are sitting, and it's like we feel so out of time. And we're just standing there and kind of observing, and okay. And everyone clearly felt like a sore thumb. And the main rabbi, head table, with all of us, and he calls us over. And I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? He comes and he was so warm to everyone
Really?
within Berkeley. He gave them all. He also gave them like a l'chaim. He gave them like a bracha.
Wow.
And it was really not what I anticipated, like envisioned, like coming from that situation. It's given the polar opposite before, but it was. It shows you like these understand that.
We had an experience of.
I don't know what I was thinking. I'm not right. Looking back.
I remember we were at the summer Rebbe when he was in Israel. Remember we went Friday night? You were with us, weren't you? And when we went the last time we went to Israel, well, the last time I went to Israel with the rabbi, the summer Rebbe was actually in Israel, like in Jerusalem. Yeah. And there was like tons of stuff going on Friday night. So the rabbi was like let's go about. I was like, let's go see what's going on. And you know me, I'm dressed in like a light blue pants and a vest, right, with a white and these guys are all in suits or whatever. So I'm in. So we walk, and we end up like we first go into this like tish. It was a small one, and then we found the main one. Okay, and the main one was like
10,000 people.
Yeah, it was like
Crazy.
No,
They blocked the
it
street.
was like 5,000 people.
25,000. Okay.
Wow.
They blocked the street.
Yeah, so they blocked off the street. They had those bleachers that God forbid you hear about, like that collapse and shit, right? Okay.
Everyone's in black in the middle of the road.
Everyone's
They
either
blocked the
in
road.
black or
Before
gold.
Shabbat, they
Or gold. Yeah, everyone's either in black or gold.
Before the Shabbat, they
made a
blocked the
stadium.
street. They made a stadium in the middle of the street.
Yes. So,
Yeah.
so we walk into this place. They're all in either those long black coats or gold.
Or the gold, the Yerushalayim ones.
Gold. It's like you're looking at
And the
like an
Rebbe's
army.
and the whole thing was
It's like the
silver.
people in the bleachers look like an army, all with flying roof. Everybody's the same. Okay. These guys are in black and white, suits. And I'm in this outfit and I'm carrying like a pack that it was cold, so I had a packable jacket. Like I'm just holding it like this. So I wanted to see what was going on. These guys were like, no, it's too many people, whatever. So I remember who I was with, but we kind of pushed our way to to the back of the bleachers.
Wow.
And the summer Rebbe was all the way at the other end. You could see him, right? So I wanted to get a closer look, right? So they're basically I'm standing here and there's these a row of summers right in front of me. So I'm kind of peering in between, and the two summers in front of me, they're like, oh, bo, Rabbi, like, you want to see the rabbi? I'm like
they
of
move
course,
over.
that's why I'm here. They move over, so I'm standing next to them, right? So one guy goes to me, the guy on my right, he goes to me, where are you from? I'm like, I'm from Toronto. He goes, and Mazda, like, what are you carrying? I'm just it's a jacket, right? He goes, I used to sell jackets, and once I was in Toronto and I stayed with a family. You know them? I'm like, which family? He goes, the Reichmans. You know the Reichmans? I'm like, yeah, I know. This is the summer guy next to me telling me all this. Yeah, and they were super nice. If you want a drink, you want to, we can find you. Don't worry. Yeah, it was a good.
Amazing.
But they made me feel like I was just like one of them. It was no big deal.
Come summer, it won't be a surprise.
It'll be a big surprise.
I wrote over here in my notes when preparing that I had a human connection, nice connection, that someone higher than me that kind of lowered himself, so to speak. When I was in Bet Midrash when I was about 20 years old, I had a lung operation. I was in the hospital for 11 days, and Rabbi Revach came to visit me. And Rabbi Revach, a rabbi in the community, an older, come and visit me, like a little kid. I never forgot that. And I have respect for him till today. I give extra respect. I never forgot that. Never forgot that.
Did your brother have that relationship with Rabbi Vadia?
He had a relationship. I don't know if that personal. I don't think it was that personal. But for me, that was I never expected. Rabbis came to visit me, but I had a relationship with them. I remember Rabbi Sai coming to my house because he was out of town, and he came to my house, and then Rabbi Meirfeld from the yeshiva came because I was in the yeshiva. They came yes, great rabbis, but it was normal. He was he came to visit me. Why? And just amazing. Ending this point with another story that we actually from our Gemara on Masechet Nedarim, back at Daf Tet, page 9, on page 68. So it's page 9, way back. If you remember, there was a story of one of the great Kohen Gadols, Shimon HaTzadik. Shimon HaTzadik, there was a story where someone came. Shimon HaTzadik, there was a statement that he didn't eat from the korban of a Nazir, except for one person. And because when the Nazir comes and he finishes his Nazir, he says an oath. I'm becoming a Nazir. That means he doesn't eat wine, he doesn't cut his hair, does this. And then at the end of his term, minimum term is 30 days, he has to bring an offering and he has to cut his hair. And so he didn't eat from any of the korbans. He felt that maybe people were doing it for different reasons, and maybe to be a show off, whatever, different reasons, except for this one case. And that one case was He sees a guy coming in with his animal, and he says, "What are you here for?" I'm a Nazir, and I'm now finished my term, and I need to bring the offering and cut my hair. He says he saw his hair was beautiful, and he says he had beautiful curly hair. And he says, like, you have such beautiful hair, like you're cutting this hair off. He says, yeah. He says, why? Like, and he said, and now when he told him this, he says, Bini. Many times you look at the Gemara, he says, Bini, my son, why are you cutting your hair? My son, why are you this? And he says his story is that he says, I was a farmer, and I was working with the animals, and I looked at a reflection of myself in the water, and I saw how good looking I am. And I was worried that, oh my gosh, if I feel so good looking that I might come to sin. So therefore I wanted to shave my hair, and I wanted to not have. So if I'm going to say to myself, I'll just go shave my hair now, I might, but if I made an oath, I made a neder, I'm going to be a Nazir, grow my hair out even more, and then eventually shave it. I have to do the neder, so I'm here to shave my head. And the rabbi says, "Wow, that's so special." And the Gemara says she wants to kiss them on the head, and he says, like, every Nazir should be like you. And he said he ate from that korban because that was like really sincere. The point I'm bringing from the story is the great Kohen Gadol Shimon Tzaddik. Many times in that story, it could have been very like factual. What happened? Why are you here for it? Wow, Chazak Baruch. But it was like Bini, my son, and he kissed him on the head afterwards. It was like a very close relationship from someone so high to someone so low in a certain way, or someone so regular that we have to recognize that we're high in our children's eyes for sure. We're the parents. But it's not all about the do's and the don'ts. There's a relationship factor, and we have to nurture that relationship factor with our children. Okay, now chinuch of mitzvot. So don't worry, we are on page 3 out of 6. So chinuch in mitzvot. That's the title officially of today's shiur. Chinuch in mitzvot. What I intend here is training, because what is chinuch all about? Chinuch is to train our child so that when it comes to age 13, of course, chinuch even applies to after their bar mitzvah. Like we said, nurturing our children and having a relationship with our children and teaching our children. But for mitzvot, when they're 13 or the girl's 12, they got to do the mitzvot. So chinuch is training your child so that they're ready to go, ready to hit the ground running when they're obligated at their bar mitzvah. It's not like the bar mitzvah, like, okay, finally I studied for my piece, I read it, now I don't have to go to school anymore, whatever. No, it's now like I've been training for all this time, and now I'm igniting. Now I'm 13, I'm going to now be able to fly on my own in a certain way. So that is chinuch. So for the mitzvot, so let's get into it. Number one, like we said before, lead by example. You want your kid to wear tefillin every day? Wear tefillin every day yourself. You want your kid to go to minyan? Go to minyan yourself. You want your kid to have good midot? Have good midot yourself. Whatever, leading by example is so fundamental in your child's upbringing, and therefore whatever you want in them, mitzvot. Thank you. So of course, sending our kids to Jewish school is so important. We're doing our best as parents, and they have to be in school for many hours a day, and we have to make sure to put them in proper schools that's going to train them as well for the mitzvot. There's a great rabbi named Rabbi Yaakov Bender, and he is the Rosh Hashiva in Darchei Torah in New York. He's a world-renowned rabbi in chinuch questions in all these types of things. And he has a few books, and there was a few points that I want to bring out from his teachings, and the few points are as follows: connected to school. He says that so children live in a relative world. I'm bigger than you. I'm smarter than you. When they're children, that's a big thing for them. Oh, you're taller than me. I'm bigger than you. I'm smarter than you. So he does say that you want to try to set your child up as best as you can in school so they could succeed. So he says if it could work out for them to be on the older end in class, of the classroom, that's better than to be the younger end. As the older, you're usually going to probably be taller. You'll probably be a little smarter. You'll have a little bit of an edge if you can. I guess it didn't work out for me because I was always the youngest in my class, so I don't know if that worked out so well. But that's what he says. If you could try pulling that off, that's a good thing.
December.
Yeah, December thing, right? As we mentioned before, the function of a home is to build a person. The function of a school is to teach information. The home can't be that place that it's also the information rigorous place. The home has to be a place of confidence, a place of happiness, a place of safety, a place of fun. Okay.
And it's cool the opposite.
And school, it's rigorous. It's school. It's the rules. Yeah, they're also not supposed to parent. There are rules. They're not the parents, but they have to. But in general, there's more rules there. They're trying to give over. The parents pay for the education, for the Jewish education, proper education, and they have to do their thing. An interesting thing is that you have to be your child's advocate. You have to be your child's you have to give your make sure that your child feels that you're there for them when it comes to schooling as well. That yes, you could, of course, if the rabbi calls or your kid's misbehaving, whatever it is, okay, you got to hear the rabbi. You got to speak to your son. You got to get to the bottom of it. It's not an automatic taking my son's side automatic, or it's not automatic. I'm taking the rabbi's side automatically. More of an of an edge though of taking your son's side. This is my child, right? So okay, I got to get to the bottom of the situation, but you got to be there for your child. And I heard an interesting thing from a rabbi, and this is not from Rabbi Bender, but a rabbi I heard that in Israel's name, Rabbi Dov Brizak. I think he might have moved to the States since, but I once went to a Chinuch shiur in Israel, and he said an interesting point. He said, bribery is something in the Torah is not allowed, but if you look closely in the Torah, it's not allowed to bribe a judge. But if you bribe your kid's teacher, that's okay. So he said, if you go at the beginning of the year and you give a nice little gift, right? So the teacher can have a little bit more attention to your child. He says that's a good little edge to help your child from a back doorway to make sure that that he gets a little bit more attention, a little bit more of a second chance, or whatever it is. Like you might think, like, okay, what? There's we're all human beings. Things come up, and the truth is, when a teacher sees that the parents care. And call often, how's my kid this? They're going to put more attention on that child. It's the way it is. So it's in hospitals. It's a known thing. If a loved one's in the hospital, if you don't advocate for them, if you don't call, if you don't visit, they're going to forget about them. They're going to take care of the ones that, I know this family's coming in an hour to check on their patient. They better be clean. They better be this. They better be this, right? So I know this kid's parents are going to call me. They're going to be down my back. They're going to be this. And they're going to shower me with presents. I got to make sure the kid's doing okay. Parents don't call. Parents don't care, whatever. Unfortunately, teachers as well have so much on their head. They have their own life, and they come to the classroom. They're 30 kids, and now with the chutzpah these days, it's just like, get me out of this place already. So you don't want to deal. So, but now there's parents that are what's going on with my child, and they're respectful, and they want to meet, and they want to know, and they want to this. So you naturally would give them a little bit more attention. So we want that little bit of an edge to go in our child's favor. And something like this could help. Reading with your child, very valuable, not just for the actual skills, but the parent-child bonding time. Plus, Torah is very big into reading. A lot of reading going on, so that's a very important thing. Also, when you're doing homework with your child, it's not asur to put your arm around them or give them a little kiss if they did a good job. It's not, even though it's a rigorous time now, doing homework, get your homework done, right? But it could be done with love too. It could be done with a little candy at the end if that works with you. It can be fun as well. It doesn't have to be super rigorous. Now, the parents, the fathers being, we have to know that because most of the time our child is spent with the mom, we have to make sure that mom is happy, mom is calm, mom is optimistic, mom is patient, mom is loved, and therefore she has all that she needs to take care of the parents, to take care of the kids, take care of the husband, right? And that, of course, will transmit to the children as well. We did learn something in the Mishle shiur just a few days ago. I don't know how much the mothers want to hear this, but that Shlomo Melech, but the Gaon of Vilna explains that there's 3 times in a child's life where they're closest to their mother: during pregnancy, So that's the mother's closest to the baby. At infancy, and really till 13. Mainly for more, it seems like more for a boy. And then after 13, now that he's in his mitzvot, he's more leaning towards his father than towards his mother. That's from the Gaon Vilna. Okay, some others we gotta know the reality of our children, how they grow up and where they tend to go after certain ages. That's just it's the way things go. For little kids, play groups, play dates, playing with friends is a good thing because they learn to share. They learn that not to be selfish. It's an important thing. Also, one of the pillars, the three pillars of the world, Torah, Avodah, Gemilut, Chasadim. Torah, Avodah is Tefillah, and Chesed. And if you get your child to do Chesed, it's one of the pillars of the world, and it's a very important thing. Teaching them that there's other people and it's not all about you. We live in a world that it's all about us, the iPhone, the iPad, it's all I. Very selfish. People feel very entitled about everything. I should get this. I have rights. I should get this. Right? We have to think. The Torah is so much focused on Chesed. Train our children to do Chesed. So important. Let's get into some practical things with regards to the mitzvot. So in no particular order, I just asked myself a few questions and I'll answer them. And then of course, there's questions at the end. But number one, when should my kid fast? Just out of the blue, talking, let's say fasting. When should my kid fast? So people say there's a thing of training your child for the 3 fasts before they become bar mitzvah. It's not an obligation. But the way that Chachamim say is it's called Tanit Sha'ot. Fasting with hours that should only start from age 9 and above, not earlier. That on a fast day, okay, you fast 2 hours this year. Next year, 3 hours. Next year, 5 hours, and then build it up so that when they become bar mitzvah, they could handle it. So there's no. So the 3 fasts. So the people that do the 3 fasts is the 3 fasts prior to their bar mitzvah. So the immediate 3. No, not 3 years, like the immediate 3 fasts. So, where we are now, it could be Asar B'Tevet, Tzom Gedalia, and Yom Kippur. Right now, we're up, right? Yeah. So, but that's not necessarily a thing. It's more the buildup of hours. So each fast you do a little more, a little bit more, and a little bit more, and then, right? You start at 9 and you go slowly, but it has to be though with what they can handle. That's yes, we're training them, but we don't want to overburden them. That's not good. Doing too much, then they can we don't want them to snap and revert backward. So that's so important. When does the child eat dairy after meat? So we have always 6 hours, right? That's especially Sfaradim, 6 hours. But when does a child eat? Can they eat dairy after meat? Number one is it's always every kid is a different. So, right, I can have this, can I have that. So number one, babies can eat right away after each other. You don't have to wait. So not eat together, not eat together, but they can eat right away after each other. So like a little baby, she has a milk bottle, and they could have meat right away afterwards. Meat, they could have milk right afterwards. There's no restrictions for babies for meat and milk. Once they start understanding, 5, 6 years old. Once they start understanding, there's a concept, meat and milk, right? But that old, right? If they start understanding no milk and meat, so maybe it's 4. If they start understanding milk and meat, then also sha'ot, also hours, what they can handle. Sometimes a kid can't handle it anymore, whatever, right? But try hard that sweets, let's say like chocolate, or because that's, let's say, a dairy thing, where I just ate meat, I want to have chocolate now. That sweet should really be 6 hours. Meaning, what's this? If you could do it again, what they could handle. And the kid's 6 years old and he's gonna fit or whatever it is. Okay, you can go a little bit more lenient, but really it's for necessities of food. So you just had meat. So yeah. So if he's a kid, so again, if they're understanding of a concept of milk and meat, say okay, 1 hour, wait half an hour, wait an hour. And then again, they get a little bit older, and you could do this till they get to bar mitzvah. So not like just 1 hour, 2 hours. When they're already 10 or 12, you want to get 4 hours, you want to get 5 hours. You want to get them there. You want to get them slowly to get there. If a kid already, Not to wait. 6 hours is a lot. That's a lot for kids.
How about if, for example, today?
If they could, yeah, it's true. If you could do it, yeah, if you could do it, 100%, 100%. If you could do it, then Chazak Baruch. But we don't want to overburden them.
Today, my kids might not even eat chicken.
Right? Oh, I don't like
It
it.
was too spicy, so they ate it. I don't like it. So they wouldn't eat. So, give them rice, but we wanted to have some other protein.
Right.
So he went through the fridge and there was
Yogurt.
The meal was from yesterday leftovers. But it was there. There was some cheese on it.
Right. So how does that work?
How does it work? Because they're starving.
Right.
A meal.
I think how old is Ness these days? How old's Ness?
That's
5, 6, right? So yeah, so each kid you got to see like sometimes there's 6-year-olds that are like mature, like 9-year-olds, or there's 6-year-olds that are like 3, like whatever. It depends. I don't know. Like So yeah, so you got to see also in that situation. There's no other dinner, and this is it. And it's gonna be a fit. It's gonna be a fight. It's gonna be painful for them. We don't want like they're gonna be hungry otherwise. Right. Right. Yeah. So there's room there. There's room there. The keeping the mindset of not overburdening, but training them and training them along. Now sometimes we know the kid could handle it. They're 10 years old already. Come on, you could handle it, right? 4 hours, whatever. Like you got to feel it a little bit also. So, but before the bar mitzvah, they're not obligated. Like they're still in training. So in training, sometimes you could give in, sometimes you could, but you want to get them there for when they hit their time. It's a good question. Good question. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah. I actually didn't prepare that one in this. That's the most important one, right? Yeah, like the toys. Right. Right.
So for them in their mind, they understand it because it's like they're not breaking the law. They have it.
Right.
When they turn
I hear that. I hear that.
So 6-year-old that's affordable.
That's a good one. That's a good one. So I mean, we did in our house. Lights was a big thing. We never. Already from childhood, I think we just don't turn on the lights. Shabbat, we turn on the lights. If they were to turn on the light, I wouldn't get mad at them. Wouldn't this? So look at Shabbat, we don't turn on the lights. Okay, but now leave it or whatever. So they really for that they knew it was more that I found the toys. They're used to these toys that make lights, that make this, right? So if I see they're like so into that toy, okay, I'll let But then I could speak to them like, one of you have this toy, one of you have that. When I see that they could do it, then they'll weed it out. I didn't. Yeah. Never get angry. Remind them, and if let's say the kid touches a toy thing, right? Not to scream at them or not to like it's Shabbat or like to say the baby, like the baby, Mazal, she's a baby, she's 2 years old, she's not like. Of course, like some of my kids, like, oh, the toy, like, take it easy, like, he's like, how much does he know, what's going on, like, so there's got to be that. That's what I found. Like, so I found for lights, it was, I think you could say, I don't know, no lights, Shabbat, this, they could learn from that. Toys might be a little bit harder. They play with this toy all the time. So you got to know each one. But again, you're building them up, right? That's the main thing, and not overburdening them. Like, if you're gonna take away this toy, they're gonna be like, depressed all Shabbat. They're gonna be like, okay, they're not there yet. Then okay, fine, you can have that toy. And then like, let's play with it less. Let's play with it this till you build it up. That's the main theme with this thing. Something I threw in here that Zeb asked me about it before is like, okay, I want to do all these things, but my child's a baby. My child's 2 years old. My child's 1 year old. They're not even. I want them to wear tefillin already, but like, come on, they're a child. Like, what do I do? I want to do stuff, right? Right? Yeah, exactly. Right. Okay, so things that you could do to a baby that they don't know the difference. That's a nice thing to do in training as well. So, netilat yadayim for a baby. It's not an obligation. But if you could do it even for a baby, it takes a little bit of time for you, whatever. But there's a lot of kedusha connected to it. And from the moment they start knowing something, this is what I do every morning. And that's just part of their routine, right? And it's zero effort on their end. It's zero pain on their end. And it's just something that can be very easily done. What? Shema at night, exactly. So Shema before they go to bed. Exactly. Like, thank you for that example. I didn't have that right. Shema night, excellent. You're just doing it to them. Are they obligated in Shema now? They're not obligated in Shema now, right? But we go to sleep. We say Shema before we go to sleep. That's just the way it is. Even if the baby is 1 month old, you say a day old, you say Shema before they go to bed, and this, and it just gets in there. I'd say like, yeah. So a little bit etrog for their own one, but like even a little baby, like I did with my kids, the arava that we hit on the floor. I would come home with it, even take the little baby outside, and just hold their hand and go like, "What is it? It doesn't do anything." But this is something. It's just this is what we do, and it's just like a little connection to it, and it doesn't hurt them, doesn't bother them at all, and whatever. Something like let's say, yeah, well, after they're in attendance for sure, they're in attendance.
Wait till Sunday.
Oh, to do it so that they see it. That's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah.
I know
And they love it. They love it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. Yeah.
we'll do it for ourselves.
And then they'll do another Havdalah so that they, yeah, it's tough sometimes in the summer. What I wrote over here is like no leather shoes on Tisha B'Av, right? So a kid, you could put little Crocs on. You could put, that's the only shoe they have. Okay, it's the only shoe they have. You don't make them suffer. But like, there's something that like they don't even those, especially little babies. They don't even. But it's something small that like. So these little things, if you could do, it's a nice thing to do. Again, not obligation, but it's part of the training, part of the subconscious little training.
We used to give them like here. There's a little
Kiddush cups.
it was for Ruthie, so we used to give to Ruthie.
Kiddush.
Hold her Kiddush cup.
It's cute.
That little one right there.
Yeah. So any form of training, any form of like these are little messages that go a long way.
That's so good.
It says Yalda Tova on it, I think. No, Rabbi Karfuk, I think. Rifkin. No, they actually
That's silver. That's worth a lot these
Yeah,
days. Be careful with it.
This one
Put down, big time.
this one was the boy that you could see they like destroyed. Yeah, now it's Joey. Did you see the difference? Ruthie just felt like a main position, and Joey looks like a car ran over it.
So in general, the outlook of training our children is if they can handle it, then we train them in that mitzvah. If they can't handle it, they're not ready for it yet, and train them later. But that's what it's all about. So I'll get into some of the details, but before that, a small thing we see from the parasha of Parasha Vayera, Avraham Avinu sees the 3 Arab-looking guys, which are really angels, and many times in the parasha you see Vayaretz Avraham runs by Maher, and he's quick to get the food and this, and then at one point it says V'la bakar ratz Avraham runs to the animals to get an animal to slaughter for the guests. Vayikach ben bakar rachvatov, he takes a good, soft animal for them. Vayiten al anar, he gives it to the lad. And he quickly takes care of it. So hold on a second, Avraham, you're doing everything. Why are you giving the mitzvah to someone else right now? Says Rashi, who's this young man? Yishmael, who's his son. To teach him, train him in the mitzvah. If guests over, go help with this, help with that. So it trains them in the mitzvah. So something that's so important. Training our children for what they could handle, training them to do it. Going through the mitzvah. So there's a custom at age 3. Some people cut the hair at 3. It's not an obligation, but usually kippah and tzitzit is 3 years old for a boy. So now, if a kid, let's say, is in diapers, then they can't. It's having tzitzit on diapers. It cannot be good. So they're not ready for it yet, right? Or if they always are throwing it off, whatever, they're not ready for it yet. But generally, with a little bit of like. You could do it and this, you could wear the kippah. Often at the beginning, kippah, they take it off and this, but when you keep on putting it back on this, they could do it. That's why generally 3 kippah, tzitzit, generally they could.
Can they wear
They
other
could do
things
it.
if they're smaller? Like David Ethan style, like
a talit, is that right?
Talit.
So that's a good question. So talit, I've seen kids at 9 years old, like a lot of kids in Israel and stuff like that. I think, like personally, I didn't train my children with talit beforehand. I think that was more of a minhag thing. Maybe in Morocco the kids didn't wear talit early. Could they have? Probably, because it doesn't take much to train them in it. But that's, I think, just a minhag thing. For instance, tefillin, generally we would train a child about a month to 3 months before his bar mitzvah to train for. So in the yeshivas they do a month. So I did also a month with my kid. Rabbi Yasai told me he would do 3 months, but he would actually wouldn't have an exact time because he would take his kids to Israel to put on their tefillin for the first time. So if it worked out, it worked out 2 months, it worked out like 6 weeks, it worked out like 3 months, and that's when they would do it. Yeah, the yeshivas they would do a month, but people don't do it earlier because for tefillin you need a guf naki. You need to be clean and not passing gas when wearing tefillin and things like that. And therefore, maybe a kid can't handle himself or whatever it is. So they would train really closer to the time. One of the big mitzvot in the year, their Pesach Seder, of course, is very important to keep their kids up. So that even like, oh, they can't handle it. No, that's Veigata the Mincha. That's like the night where we tell over the whole story of our history, of our emunah, of everything. So put them to sleep early the afternoon before. Keep them up with candies, bribe them. Like that's their night, whatever age. Like keep them up. Right, that's what you got to do. Shavuot, staying up all night. It's not a must. It's a minhag anyways. If they could handle whatever they can handle, again, they want to stay up a little bit. They want to stay up. It's and you can also in general, right? Yeah. Now it's the night to stay up. Yeah. 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 Oh yeah, when they get old, like it's like exactly. It's like I want to stay up, and then they hit teenager, like I'm going to sleep.
Once you start falling asleep during fuck, what do you think?
Yeah. Right. Sukkot. Try to train your child to spend time in the sukkah. It's not so difficult. It's just spending time in the sukkah. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, etc. One of the things we said before of like training without the kid even like knowing. The Gemara tells us about the daughter of Shammai that built a sukkah over her kid's crib. Again, not an obligation, but just so the kid is like in a sukkah all the time, type of thing. Lulav. Again, that's you want to see whether they're ready for it. Generally, with my boys, we felt they were ready at grade 2, age 8, and it's been working out. Like I know this year, Moshe was really was that one? No, you're grade 1. Everyone always did grade 2, kind of like your thing, like the 5 years old, right? And at home, he would do the lulav, but to have his own and really be responsible for his own. I felt with my boys, grade 2 worked out, and you should do it. And it's to train them to have their own. A few more dollars, but that's what the mitzvot are all about. Chanukah to train them. So we just had Chanukah, and even for the girls because they're obligated in menorah as well. If they live on their own, whatever it is, and to train them by the husband lights the first candle, and the other nights that can be done by the kids. If the kid is really young and doesn't understand the mitzvah, then the father should hold his hand. Or the shamash they could light even if they're holding on their own. Shabbat candles, from what I understand, girls wouldn't light their own. I think there are some customs of the young girls lighting their own to be in training, but definitely to watch the mother, be involved with the mother, to watch her mother. It's an important thing that when it's her turn, she'll know what to do. When it comes to Purim, Purim's around the corner. Zrat Hashem, training our child to listen to Megillah what they can. If they're going to be a disturbance, then figure that out, not to disturb others. Giving Mishloach Manot to friends. A lot of kids in school already. They exactly give a little loot bag to a friend. That's a training of giving some tzedakah. If they have a little piggy bank or something to give some tzedakah, it's an important thing. Seuda, training them if they can a little bit. They have their own money, right? If they can. And we have every day we say in Shema, V'shinantam levanecha. This time of Torah, teaching Torah. We have to teach our children Torah. And that's the Torah stresses for your children. There's so many things in the Torah that are for our children. 2 more points. One is the Shabbat table. The Shabbat table has to be a harmonious place, a fun place, not a place of interrogation. What do you do in school? You have to show me a Dvar Torah. You have to sing. You have to this. Shabbat, it's beautiful. You want your kids at the table. You want them joking around. You want them laughing. Yeah, there's time for Dvar Torah, singing, and but it should be with. You don't want to say Dvar Torah today? Okay, fine, no worry. You'll say one, or I'll say one next week. Try to prepare one next week, whatever it is. But it should not be an interrogation. I heard recently from the great Rabbi Reuven Feinstein, who talked about his father, Moshe Feinstein. He said his father was never a warden on the Shabbat table ever, right? It was a chilled, beautiful Shabbat meal. When a kid wants to say, you want to say the Torah this week? Chavot. You don't want to say one this week? You're not in the mood? Or okay, fine, that's fine too. It's not an interrogation. It's an enjoyable time with the family together. Rabbeinu Bechaye, it's an amazing point that I saw. Amazing point. To end with this, he said, we know that Nevi'im, prophets, will hear prophecy from Hashem. Moshe Rabbeinu was the only one that had the prophecy when he was alive, when he was awake. Everybody else were asleep. But in a certain way, they heard a voice. Even in their prophecy, there was a voice that they heard. So Rabbeinu Bechaye, the voice they heard was their father's voice. The voice of Hashem that they would hear, like, what type of voice? Low pitch, high pitch? Did they report back? What pitch was it? The report back was each one heard their father's voice. And this was just like you have a good relationship with your father. Now, this is your father in heaven. This is Hashem. And therefore, we as fathers, we as parents, have to have that good relationship so that when they hear our voice, it's going to ring a good tone, and they're like, "Yeah, that's my father's voice. That's going to come out. It's going to be good. Something not that. Oh my God! Oh man, I hear my father. I hear my mother. Now I don't want to hear that voice, right? We want it to be a good voice, just like our Nevi'im when they heard their father, they heard Hashem, but they heard their father. Like, wow, this is like Hashem. Or this is like amazing. This is a great relationship. We want to have that great relationship with our children as well. Bezrat Hashem, let's be great teachers to our children to perform the mitzvot properly, and hopefully stick with them for their entire lives and have amazing relationships with our children.
Amen.
Thank you guys. And chapter 4, part 4, coming up. Bezrat Hashem. Thank you again, Daniel, Sabrina. Thank you everyone for joining online.